Greetings, people of Earth. I'm Mr. Teacher.
And I'm Answer Girl. Our vlog is about our geeky, nerdy pursuit of knowledge. That is, finding and presenting the answers to questions about topics that have piqued our interest in one way or another, or have been suggested by you.
Today, we will continue our discussion about the first armed conflict between pro-slavery and anti-slavery forces in the United States, the Battle of Blackjack. The battle took place on June 2nd, 1856, in the Kansas Prairie along a dry creek ravine on the Santa Fe Trail.
In this episode, we will explore the events leading up to the battle.
The Kansas-Nebraska Act opened Kansas Territory in 1854 and allowed citizens to determine whether Kansas would be a free or slave state.
Thousands of settlers from the north and south began to move to Kansas. The territory soon became a battleground between those who supported slavery in the territory and those who opposed it. The territory became known as Bleeding Kansas.
The fall of 1855 marked the beginning of violent confrontations between pro-slavery and anti-slavery supporters in Kansas Territory, when a pro-slavery man named Franklin Coleman murdered a Free-State man named Charles Dow over a land claim dispute with Jacob Branson, a friend of Dow's.
Coleman fled to Westport, Missouri, and appealed for protection to Douglas County Sheriff Samuel Jones. Sheriff Jones arrested Jacob Branson after Branson had burned Coleman's house and allegedly made death threats against Coleman. Branson was freed by a group of Free State men and taken to Lawrence, an anti-slavery settlement.
Kansas Territorial Governor Wilson Shannon issued a call for territorial militia. Much to Shannon's dismay, men from Missouri answered his call.
Sheriff Jones and about 1,500 pro-slavery men assembled 3 miles south of Lawrence in November of 1855. Lawrence prepared to defend itself. However, Territorial Governor Shannon and Colonel Albert Boone, the grandson of Daniel Boone, arranged a treaty and dispersed the pro-slavery group in December of 1855.
The incident is called the Wakarusa War of 1855, even though there was no attack.
However, the Free State cause gained a martyr when Thomas Barber, a Free State settler, was shot on his way home from Lawrence after resisting capture and exchanging fire with the Missouri Patrol.
Governor Shannon also gave approval to raise militia for the purpose of repelling invaders, legalizing the Free Staters' up to then illegal military force. However, this was not to last.
By 1856, the officially recognized territorial government was pro-Southern due to thousands of Missourians crossing the border and voting illegally. On May 5, 1856, a grand jury of the United States District Court at Lecompton, under the presiding judge Samuel D. Lecompte, issued indictments against the Free State officials.
Judge Lecompte's judgment, including a ruling that labeled the Free State Hotel and 2 Free State newspapers in Lawrence as nuisances, and ordered them to be shut down. The U.S. Marshal for Kansas Territory, Israel B. Donaldson, took a posse of around 700 men, including Sheriff Jones, to Lawrence to execute the court orders.
By late May, Marshal Donaldson and his posse had surrounded Lawrence, Kansas. Fearing for the safety of their town, the leaders in Lawrence sent notice to Marshal Donaldson that they would comply with the court's orders. Donaldson entered Lawrence and made his arrests.
Having completed his orders, Donaldson released the posse on May 21st. Sheriff Jones led the posse in disarming Lawrence and destroying the Free State newspapers and the Free State Hotel.
A group of South Carolinians known as the Palmetto Guards flew their Southern Rights flag over the Herald of Freedom, newspaper offices in the Free State Hotel, before destroying the buildings. This incident was called the Sack of Lawrence.
On the night of May 24th, John Brown, 3 of his sons, and his son-in-law captured 5 pro-slavery settlers and killed them with broadswords. This incident was called the Potawatomi Massacre. Brown believed they were actively conspiring to clear the Potawatomi Creek area of Free State settlers.
Seeking revenge for the killings, Henry Clay Pate took a group of about 75 Shannon's sharpshooters, named after Kansas Governor Shannon, and entered Kansas to find Brown and either capture him or kill him. After arriving in the vicinity of Osawatomie, Kansas, Pate was able to make prisoners of John Brown, Jr. and Jason Brown, both sons of old John Brown.
Ironically, neither of them had been involved in the Potawatomi massacre. A few days later, Pate turned his prisoners over to a company of U.S. Dragoons.
While searching for John Brown, Pate went on a rampage against the Free State settlers, plundering and burning their cabins.
Pate camped at Blackjack Springs, a popular campground along the Santa Fe Trail named after a grove of blackjack oaks on the site.
John Brown decided he needed to go after the Missourians and put a stop to their raiding. He was able to pull together a small group of about 12 Free State men, including his sons Frederick, Owen, and Watson. On June 1st, Brown and his men had reached Prairie City, Kansas. Here, Brown met up with Captain Samuel T. Shore and his company of about 20 Free State militia.
On June 1st, Pate and his men raided the Free State settlement of Palmyra, Kansas, and took 2 men prisoner. When finished in Palmyra, Pate and his men withdrew to their camp. A small group of Pate's men left to raid Prairie City and was surprised by the Free State militia. Several of Pate's men were captured and questioned. Brown and Shore then devised a plan to attack Pate's camp.
Early in the pre-dawn hours of June 2nd, Brown and Shore led their men quietly along the prairie a few miles east of present-day Baldwin City, Kansas. Within a few hours, they would be engaged in a pitched battle with Missouri pro-slavery men led by Captain Henry Clay Pate.
Next time, the Battle of Blackjack.
Okay, together on 3. 1, 2, 3.
To be continued.